It's Thursday, November the 30th, and welcome to another video. So today's a little bit different. I'm not really talking about my usual content. This one gets kind of a little bit deeper than most. It's really, I think it's perhaps a call to action, a a moment to reflect on how we're living our lives, and I'm addressing primarily men. You know how we handle our day-to-day lives, our responsibilities, and what ultimately that might be doing to our health, our sense of well-being. And it's this is something of a maybe sharing a bit of my journey and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Um, Often I make these videos at the end of a very long day. My day can start at 3 a.m. in the morning. It can end at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Generally, I'm working very long hours. I have clients all over the world. On any one day, I'm doing Zoom calls with clients in, throughout the States. I just finished one in the UK, the Middle East. So a lot of clients in Saudi Arabia, Australia, across Europe, so all different time zones. So I'm working incredibly strange long hours, and trying to add into that, time to enjoy life, time with the family, time with my wife. But talking to friends, very close friends, of my age, and hearing about their challenges. It made me realize that in amongst a lot of these say lifestyle channels, addressing men's fashion, entertainment, however you define it, there isn't much talk about wellness and health. I'm not a health guru. I'm not a doctor. I'm none of those things. But I made some choices some time ago to really turn my life around from a health perspective. So what I want to do today is kind of share a few things I do, and to discuss, I think, the necessity of making smart choices. As guys, as men, we keep so much internalized. We adopt for whatever reason. We I think adopt a lot of responsibility. We take it upon ourselves, and I think with that is a corresponding level of stress. Over the last several years, um, I've I know personally, three friends who dropped dead from heart attacks. Um, Two were on the outwardly, were very health conscious, very healthy. Um, Actually, all three of them, all and actually all three were involved in the fitness industry, but I think they took care of their clients more than they were taking care of themselves. And a very uh, good friend of mine, very dear friend of mine, some years ago had a heart attack, and the day um, his daughter was being born, and that shook me. I'm like, it's so fast. Um, he's an incredibly hardworking guy who's absolutely devoted to his family. But like me, he keeps a lot to himself, and he's worked his ass off for years. And I think he's never really stopped to take care of himself. And like a lot of us, we don't stop to take care of ourselves. It's we don't take those. I don't think we think of it as being very manly when we say, I need me time. I need to do stuff for me. We don't go to the get our nails done in the salon. We don't go to the spa. We, typically, I don't want to sound overly stereotypical here, but we don't stop to look after ourselves. And I think that's something we need to reconceptualize a little bit, and we need to change our way of thinking around. As much as we want to look good, we want to live a great life, we can't if we're not here, you know. And so I'm want today to, if anybody hasn't thought about it, and this isn't just guys my age, if you're in your 20s, your 30s, to start thinking about what are your lifestyle choices, and are they conducive to being at your best when you're 40, 50, 60, 70? I mean, when I was a kid, 40 years old, 50, 60 was old. It was old. People retired at 65, and they got the gold watch, they got the gold clock to put up on the mantelpiece, and that was it. Then they would just wait around. Today, people are just getting started at 65, getting started at 70. So I think that, we need to change our idea of health and wellness. So, so for me personally, it was a couple of years ago. I mean, I used to be very involved in wellness and in health. I certified as a personal trainer. I was in the gym on a very regular basis. And then a few years, later on, I moved town, and I basically gave up. Work took over, started a business took over, and everything was put on a back burner. And for me, it was when I, felt my trousers were tight, and I took my waist measurement, and I was like, my waistline was never that big. And obviously, for me, there was to do with aesthetics. I didn't like to be carrying all that extra weight around. So I made a few choices. I went extreme keto, and I lost a lot of the weight. But then I've been fluctuating over the past, up and down over the past few years. And it was 2 years ago. I had a bit of I won't say it was a health crisis. In a way, it was. I something happened, and anyway, I ended up getting blood work, and the blood work wasn't positive. It was not positive at all. And I looked at the amount of weight I was carrying around my waist, which is often seen as a precursor or an indication of a potential cardiac event. My blood sugar was incredibly high. I was considered, I think they termed it as pre type 2 diabetic, something like that. If my cholesterol was incredibly high, and I was just in piss poor shape, and so I had to make changes. I had to make some radical changes, and so I did. I've started. I went back to the gym. The last week's been a challenge for me getting there, but I'm pretty much I try to squeeze in 4 to 5 workouts a week at the gym, a mix of cardio, which is incredibly, I find it dull and boring, and mix it with resistance and high intensity training. But a big thing for me was my food. What am I eating? And I do badly. I love carbs. Pasta, bread, rice. I can eat massive amounts of that, but it hits me hard now. It hits me in a way that it never used to hit me before. So I've cut it out. And for now, I'm very following a ketogenic diet, but I'm supplementing heavily. I'm supplementing to ensure that my body gets the nutrients it needs, the minerals, the hormones, the vitamins it needs. So I'll run through that in a second. But in addition to that, I stopped to think about what my day looks like. Get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, straight onto the messages, dealing with clients, pumping out the work. Now I try to stop and say, you know what, I need to gather my thoughts. I have started writing, and it's more, I wouldn't say journaling as such. It's not random thoughts. Sometimes it is, but it's more just staying on track with my goals. I catch up on things I want to accomplish, things I haven't accomplished, and I try and identify why not, and I detail those. I schedule like crazy. I try to plan my day out almost down to the 30 minutes. Something I started doing when I was in graduate school. I was doing a double course load in graduate school while still in the army, and my days were insane. They were intense. If I didn't bullet point everything, write everything down, everything was going to collapse. So I got used to doing that. So that I try to do it the night before, the day before, plan my next day, so that I'm not going into the day firefighting. I know what's coming up. I know what I'm doing. So I plan religiously. I plan out everything. So I do spend a few minutes every morning doing that, and I tend to then take a break at the end of the day and kind of do that again to kind of wrap the day up. But central to a lot of what I do is my supplementation, and I've been hard at this now. I've always taken supplements, but it's been, very haphazard. Um, a couple of months ago, I did decide to go and see a naturopath. I'm a firm believer that traditional medicine isn't the only way, and I think the way traditional medicine, how it is practiced today, it's more of a band-aid. When something's wrong, you go to the doctor, they write a prescription and or make a referral and send you on your way. There's nothing preventative in that. There's nothing. Um, I find that meeting, they're incredibly busy. Not getting into a debate about our healthcare system as it is now. I think doctors are more focused on getting you in, dealing with you quickly, and getting you out. So I wanted a more holistic approach to my personal health. In general, I think I'm in relatively good health, apart from some of those challenges I was dealing with before. But I want to make sure I stay that way. And there's always room for improvement. There's always things I can tweak. So I do a number of things every day. Central to that, I think the foundation is I consume. You might have heard it. A lot of people advertise this online. The videos are sponsored. I'm not sponsored by anybody, not yet. But if anyone's out there, I take AG1. AG1 is a mix of absolutely everything you can imagine. And unlike a lot of the green drinks, it doesn't taste that bad at all. It's a lot of those green, those green powders that contain everything. They taste just dreadful. AG1 is pretty good. Just to kind of let you know what's in it, it's vitamin A, vitamin C at 467%, vitamin E, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, vitamin B12, biotin. Don't ask me what half of these things are. Not too much calcium, and then decreasing amounts of phosphorus, magnesium, zinc at 136%, selenium, copper. Anyway, so as an all-in-one, I chug this in about 20 seconds. I get everything I need from that. But so that's really the basis of what I do. I take fiber once to twice a day, to keep everything working well internally, to cut back on the cholesterol. If I'm not getting enough of the greens I need for the fiber, I know that I'm taking 2 of these a day. Again, two shakes of this a day, in the morning and in the evening. Magnesium. This was in a way to address a lot of the health challenges or issues I had a couple of years ago, but it's also very good for heart health, for relaxation, for mood. Magnesium, my omegas, the fish oil, zinc. I take CLA sometimes if I do find if there is a day when I'm sorry for the noise. If I'm having any carbs, I'll make sure that I'm taking my CLA. Coenzyme Q10 for heart health, cardiovascular. This is very important. So this is taken every day as well. But huge now, and I'm becoming a fast advocate for this. Is vitamin D3. Um, Go online, go on YouTube, and look up the benefits of vitamin D3. Especially over the past couple of years, we all know what we went through. This is something I think that could have been incredibly impactful, but it wasn't recommended, and it's still not being recommended. I think the most dietary guidelines and recommendations suggest 400 or so of what they call international units of vitamin D3. 400. Even if people were taking that, 95% of the population would still be vitamin D3 insufficient. So I'm taking 10,000 a day. Now, some people are going to say, or, you take 10,000 a day, one of the side effects or one of the side effects of vitamin D3 is a buildup of calcium, and which could end up as kidney stones. So to offset that, I do take vitamin K2. This will then capture that excess calcium and transport it to the bones where you want it to be. So, I mean, even not taking the K2, I mean, I think taking 10,000 IUs a day of D3 would be more than fine. Look up vitamin D3. I think this, and I've noticed a huge change already. I've been on this for a few months now, and I'm noticing a big change. So it looks like a lot, but it's also AG1 also comes with a drops of vitamin D3, which is combined with the K2 for the again, the K2 is for the hypercalcemia to make sure that it's not an issue. So it looks like a lot, but I keep it simple. I try to make sure that this is, if it gets overly complicated, it's going to fail. My AG1s come in some simple little envelopes. So I do one of those in the shaker. 10 seconds later, it's gone, and then I take all of my supplements in one go. The magnesium, though, I do try to take in the evening. But it's I try to keep it simple. I look at what my objective is. At this stage in life, it's cardiovascular, heart health, stress. So I've built working with the naturopath. I built my overall supplementation regime around those objectives. I have a follow-up appointment in a few weeks, and so with more blood work to see where I'm tracking. But if you haven't, consider seeing a naturopath. They'll run the blood work, see where you might be deficient, and suggest a course of action for you. But this is what I've done. This is, I felt I was heading in the wrong direction up until I'd say even a year ago. I was heading in the wrong direction, health-wise, stress-wise, and had to make some changes. I've seen it happen to too many friends, and I'm sure anybody watching this, they can tell a similar story as well. So if nothing else, guys, just take a few minutes, stop, and think about what's going on in your life. Think about the impacts there would be if you weren't there to look after everybody else and to be the guardian for everybody else. But I think the first step is to look after yourself and be the guardian to yourself. Now, some people are going to say, yo, you smoke cigars and you drink whiskey. You know what? Cigars are my yoga. Having a cigar and a glass of scotch for that 1.5 to 2 hours is like going to the spa for me. It's pure relaxation. There's no phone. There's no television. The computer's put away. It's just enjoying that moment. And I'm telling you, that can be, for me anyway, that's one of the best things that I can do for my own relaxation. It's all about balance. Obviously, we don't inhale cigars. And if, it might only be 1 or 2 whiskeys a week, if that. But, when I do, I like to enjoy that moment and just stop, relax, and just solve the world's problems in my head. But think about, how you're living your life, what stresses you have, what tweaks you can make. Go check out a naturopath. Find out what supplementation regime works for you. Get to the gym. It's tough. It is. It's some mornings I wake up, especially, here, you wake up in the morning, it's freezing outside. Sometimes there's 6 feet of snow on the ground, and the last thing you want to do is dig out the car and drive to the gym. But it's a choice. We have to make some, balance things out. It's and for me, getting to the gym, sometimes I have to go at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. My day start early anyway. Go to the gym, knock out a quick hour workout, and then come back, and it sets you up for the day. You sleep better, you start looking better. And for me, you know what? I'll be honest. It's about health on the inside, but it's one day I'm going to Savile Row, I'm going to Huntsman, I'm going to have that suit made, and you cannot, be carrying all the extra weight around here to get into one of those suits. So that's it. Anyway, a very different video today. Just wanted to share just a little bit behind the scenes as to who I am and what I do. And I hope you get something from this. Just please, you mean a lot to everybody around you. I don't mean to sound cliched when I say this. The world is a lot better place with you in it, and I'm sure that your loved ones would agree. So just think about some of the routines you can do to bring the stress level down a little bit, to look after yourself, to bring a bit of peace and calm into your life, be it through writing, having a cigar, yoga, meditation, whatever works. Think about that. Think about what you're putting into your body. Think about the supplements you're doing. Go see a naturopath. Go see a personal trainer at the gym. Listen, I go to Planet Fitness, and if anyone goes there, they have free personal trainers. Go get a routine made up. It's a small price to pay. I paid, I think, $30 a month, and you can't beat that. A buck a day, and all of the resources at the gym, the experts there that can help you. Take stock of where you're at. Take stock. Think about some tweaks you can make. If you're happy, if everything's great for you, fantastic. But we're living in crazy times. Crazy times. A lot of burdens. A lot of stress on our shoulders. Let's find a healthy way to deal with it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.